play. For whatever reason, whether they mentally were scored during the break, whether they felt the game was on because there were 2 goals up, mathematically Spurs had to score 3. They just started sitting back. They're good. They were no longer closing down because Ajax, like they closed down, they hustled up the ball. They were now standing off Spurs, allowing them territorial space and advantage.
I didn't see all of that.
Could they have been tired?
I didn't see all of that.
It was there.
Were they tired or something?
Well, no.
They just,
I don't know, maybe look more, I don't know.
In my opinion, well, I think I want to agree with Doctor. Like, I mean, tiredness, it could be mental. And like, yes, haven't come this far. Let's start by saying that first things first. En route this semi-finals, Ajax in the knockout phase didn't beat any of the sides that they played at home. They won away from home. Real Madrid beat them at Johan Cruyff Arena. They drew Juventus there. Finally, they had control of this in their grasp and threw it away. So perhaps believing that they had done enough away from home and in the first 45 minutes, they allowed that to get into them. Coming into the second half, not understanding that you need to kill off your opponent at every point in time you have the opportunity, which would also take me back to the first leg of the Barcelona game where Ousmane Dembele may have scored 4 goals. That could have also made it 4
would have killed the tie.
So in this knockout ties, it means that you cannot at any point in time begin to assume that, oh, we've done enough or we've scored enough.
I see it very differently. And I would like us to look at it from another angle. The perspective I have is any good side in Europe that is always sticking to a particular pattern and they don't have a plan B, once you are able to stifle them, that's their end. It happened against Barca. There was no plan B. Now, against Spurs at halftime, what I saw was a Llorente who had height, who had the physique to disturb the young defender, the captain, came in. Now, for me, Ajax didn't have a plan B. The only thing Ajax could do, like Barcelona, was tiki-taka. And the same thing Spurs used to beat City, which was the Agidi football of Sissoko and Wayama jamming everybody, kicking everybody, was the same thing Liverpool did to Barca. Barca didn't have a plan B. Barca was ordinary, and Ajax in the second half looked like they didn't come to the party. So for me, I think I would not look at it and say they didn't kill off the game. I think there was no plan B as at what was happening or what was hitting them. Because if there was a plan B, for example, if they had an alternative style of play, they would have switched to it. Maybe they would have said, okay, you know what, let's do a counter from the wings, or let the wing backs stay and don't go, or whatever. Because
so just go long.
Yes, because if you look at Ajax,
no, but they did that. They did that. They had their chances to even to have killed the game. Yes. And when it got into extra time, they played classical professional football. They just went and killed the game. Just didn't want to attempt anything in the game. Just make sure that the ball goes to the throw.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, what I'm trying to say
things like that. That's what they played.
Yes, after conceding the first goal against Spurs, I would like people to tell me, did Ajax come out with a plan B to try and curtail Spurs? Spurs were like leeches all over them.
No. Spurs were not brilliant.
No,
their game was not. They were not like Liverpool. They were not like Liverpool. Running at the team and creating chances. But they didn't have all of that.
They put the ball in the net 3 times. That's brilliant. And that's such a question of the 2 strikes were like back to within
2 minutes.
2 minutes of each other.
4 minutes.
So it was punch and counter punch within 4 minutes. Punch and counter punch. Like Ronaldo's goals against
exactly against Barcelona. There's no plan B.
No, but so you can't read. So the problem, their reaction time, it's when the
reaction is what I mean by the plan B.
Yes, at 2-2.
Yes,
they should have just gone long. They should have changed.
No, but I think that they did that because you remember that when it got to that stage, they pulled out Dolberg, who was the point man, and brought in an attacking midfielder instead to push Tadic forward as a striker.
Tadic is not a striker.
Yeah, but he has been the guy leading in lines all through. So, but one of their wingers, David Neres, got injured in the warm-up. Backside the game, real advantage. They took out the centre forward and brought in a midfielder. Let's increase the numbers in the middle. That said, it didn't work out because momentum has swung, and of course at 2-2, it now became Spurs were the guys who knew that
if you permit me, sir, what I mean by a plan B, maybe I should have out. If I'm used to knocking the ball as my pattern, and things are difficult, like what Jose used to do, he puts in that they play up and Fellaini.
Some of the time.
Some of the time.
Yeah.
Some of the time.
Yes. Some of the time.
Mourinho was
Okay,
still
some
having
of the
trouble.
time.
Most people were concerned that it was 90 minutes up. 5
Take the balls to the side.
did.
Really?
Yeah. That's what they did.
Football is to go ahead and beat Real Madrid, convince. I mean,
Two goals up.
Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Welcome back. Well, we have the latest report from the semi-finals of the Europa Cup, and a miracle has happened. 4 English teams are playing in the finals of the 2 major European club competitions. Chelsea will now be playing Arsenal in the finals of the Europa Cup, and Liverpool, of course, will be playing Tottenham Hotspur. Is that the emergence or the turnaround of European football? Has it now moved over to England for real? We thought so a couple of years ago, but not. However, Lukman is here. Let's have your roundup. People are waiting all over Africa now to listen to your predictions for Saturday.
Sunday, Mr. Speaker.
Wait, for Sunday.
Yeah, for Son in this case, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It has come down to the final day of the Premier League, and we have thoroughly enjoyed this campaign between perfection against the never-relenting Liverpool side. So who will win this Premier League title come Sunday evening? Over in Germany, title record holders Bayern Munich can seal their 20th with a victory in the East in the European football Albion. Manchester City Atalanta coach faces his former as well in this interesting that Atalanta will rest some players as they prepare for this game. That's
of redemption and resurrection and rehabilitation as well. There's this player in Liverpool. For me, the guy was part of the furniture. He had no future in that club. I doubt if he was going to be there beyond this summer. But now, I think that guy has forced his way into club's future plans. Divock Origi.
Oh yeah.
He was in he did something in dressing room.
I don't get all this talk. That's how I read something today. That his father some years ago in Kenyan scored the winning goal again. What is going on?
Whether not just because if you look at that goal against Everton, that could have said, okay, maybe a bit of a fluke. The Everton goalkeeper made a horrible error, allowed the ball to drop it and put it away. Okay, then that was like, everybody probably forgot about it again. Then it was rolled out against Newcastle in a game that Newcastle were determined, if I can speak like that, determined to finish, to make that they were not going to lose that game. Salah goes off, Origi comes on, and in a match that Liverpool could easily have chucked away 2 precious points and given he scored. Then he scored the crucial goal. Because I tell you what, say what you will about belief, about the arm, the cup, and everything. If Liverpool hadn't scored so early, doubt would have started creeping in. Oh, yeah. But that early goal was like, okay, we've got the first goal, we need 2 more. Let's concentrate on making sure that Barcelona didn't score. Yeah. So, Divock Origi, that's it's a bit of a...
No, go ahead. I'll talk after you're done.
Liverpool supporter, but I believe that they were going to win that game, not win the tie. Because I watched the 2 managers pre-match conferences, and the Liverpool manager gave their very best. And even if it meant them losing, he would want his team to give their best, knowing that, they fought blood and sweat on the pitch, and they can walk home or glute. When it was time to 3-0 was not a good, they needed to be careful. So a bit of
nervousness.
It was as regards how I was going to approach the game. Very. Getting into the second half, the manager should
to the broadcast rights.
TV rights.
We need to begin to understand that the quality of your football is tied.
But you know, sir, so add to what you're saying.
Sponsorship.
He's going to relate it to Nigeria.
Yes.
Please go on. Please go on. Yes.
But it's only in England that everybody shares equal.
No, it's good.
No, it's
Please
not only
relate
in England
it.
because the La Liga. I had a discussion with the MD of La Liga when they came to Lagos about 2 weeks ago. It was in my office. And they are also trying to say, yes, we're doing everything right in terms of structure, organization of the La Liga. But there's still something that the EPL is beating us in. Yes. Attracting the kind of funds that they get. And that's what they want to now begin to open up. That's why they're opening up La Liga academies in Nigeria, opening up in Argentina, creating up, because they want to draw in that money.
But sorry,
into football.
You will continue, but I want to ask you a question. If that is the case, they need to tweak their model, because the truth of the matter, Barcelona and Real Madrid take the lion's share.
That's what they've corrected that now. We had a good session with them. Yes,
it's no more the lion's
in fact, now that money, this is where I'm going. That money is not even going to the A teams of those clubs. It is going to their academies.
Okay.
The amount of money, the amount of money you get is dependent on how well you have structured your academy in line with the La Liga standard. Do you meet their criteria?
Wow.
Then you get more money. So when we're talking about the LMC, the MPFL and all that, and talking about money, we need to understand that it's not just about having the money, but using it to develop the football, using it to attract the best players. We're attracting the best players in the EPL. But do you know what is happening because of that? They're now developing the best youth academies.
Yes, that's why they've taken over from the Germans. The Germans are now collecting players from England.
From England, exactly.
And the English English reserve team games have almost as much fans, paying fans, as the EPL games. Because I watch a lot of those
England
games.
are reigning champions at under 17 and
21.
Under 20.
And they might even win this Nations
the
tournament.
Money is getting down to their academies.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Because most of the players now are now being. That's why I'm thankful to God for this Chelsea ban. They are going to bring.
They now have to look inward.
53 players
out all over the world.
I think if the ban stands, I think they are going to have to call.
They lost, but they are going to cast now. But
talking about academic,
you know, so for me, so sorry, I just want to make a point out. For me, I agree 110% with what Dr. Tando has said regarding the academies, because I watch a lot of the English Premiership teams, reserve teams. Now, what I think has happened basically is the fact that they have sold and marketed the Premiership very well, to the point now that they now have more than enough funds
to flow
down from the top down to the bottom. That's why we can afford to pay a player £500,000 a week. Yes. You know, he's richer than his country.
I agree with you. And looking at it, part of what they've done, beyond football, the fans attraction, like. On SuperSport, I'm sorry to having to mention another television. There's this show they call the Fan Zones, where fans from all over the world are calling. They are trying to get the attention and the attraction of these guys. So it's beyond the game. Pre the game, you are going to discuss about your team. I see Indian, Pakistanis talking about the Premier League, telling us the kind of formation they want, the kind of system they expect from their team, and all. Same thing is what La Liga 2 now has a La Liga TV.
They're trying to do that.
But can I add to this? In a La Liga business school.
Yes, can I add to this, sir? When you go and watch a match in Liverpool, apart from your ticket, maybe you're a season ticket holder, but apart from the ticket, do you know how much you spend?
Oh, yes.
From when you enter the tram or the train to get to the station, to watch the pints of beer or soft drinks you have, the hot dog you take, the meal you have, the souvenirs you buy, when you now enter, to the store, and the souvenirs you buy. See, whether you like it or not, the major part of funds for these teams, Ronaldo's money was gotten back by Real Madrid when Man U sold him for 80 million. They get it back in less than 2 weeks.
Juve as well.
In less than 2 weeks, they got that money back from selling of jersey. You know, if the stadium is 86,000 capacity and the jersey is £40, please do the maths. Do you know how much
in other words, the excitement of the EPL has been turned into money.
Yes, exactly.
Money. So we must make our own.
But let me say this before I go. I met a Brazilian yesterday.
You have 30 seconds.
Yes, I met a Brazilian yesterday. He was taking me to the hospital, and he said something to me. He said he's never ever going to wear the Brazilian jersey again, and he's never ever going to watch the Brazilian team play again. I said, why? He said when Ronaldinho, the magician, was playing football, when Rivaldo was playing football, when Pelé was playing, when Zico, Socrates, when they were playing, that those were footballers. And now what Brazilian has now are showbiz people that are strictly after money and showbiz. That there was never a day them Ronaldinho, with all the panache skills they had, there was never a day they dialed their hair. That in Brazil, they believe that the match Brazil lost to Germany in 2014, that's 6-2, that they believe it was a sold-out match, that was a corruption case. So what am I trying to say? He said money has come to influence football, yes, positively to some people, but negatively to them in Brazil. I just want to chip that in.
Well, we'll be going on our last break. When we come back, there's a message from our Oga in Abuja about our conversation today, after the break.
Slavery is an evil practice abolished all over the world over 200 years ago. But today, human traffickers are selling human beings as slaves in Africa. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and the people you know do not fall into slavery. Don't believe fake promises of jobs abroad.
People went to say Libya, Italy no use you when they carry me on top water. 4 days now they lock me for inside house, no food, no water. I nearly die. Now God, when me heaven and earth, now save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior one, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, now make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person when enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, well, you have missed a great deal. I have a message from the DG of NTA. Let me just get the message back here now. Aha, it's here. It's not supposed to be read, but I'm going to read this one. Okay? And it says, I'm truly proud of Onome. He has shown an admiringly uncommon and awesome commitment to the cause of the sports parliament. He came off the plane from an international trip and came straight to the studio, and that is huge. As Director General of the NTA, I am blown away by this and will use it to motivate workers in NTA. Then the last part he said,
the bad part of it.
He completed my day by proudly sporting the jersey of the best team in the world. That's not lying.
But that one is a lie.
Why is the jersey not being shown? You won't show the jersey.
DG, we don't agree with you on that one.
We don't agree. The one we are going to agree is NTA has to play a big role in driving the development of Nigerian football.
I think we need to do that by having the NTA can start covering NPFL games, because it's a shame that the Nigerian Professional Football League is going on and we're not seeing the games on television, on cable, or whatever.
That's a challenge for those of you who
I was going to just add, even before this, that South Africa is following the EPL model in terms of money, first teams, and academies.
Okay.
Let's look out for them very soon.
Now, let me say this, sir. I'm so sorry. I'm close to this.
Can I get a word? Because I've noticed.
No. I'm so sorry. This is about the what they're saying about Nigerian league.
After I played my point. My point is, I wanted to go back to that magical game on Tuesday, Wednesday. How do you legislate for that fourth goal? And talking about academic products, Trent Alexander-Arnold is an academic. Yeah. What was his thought process?
I've watched that whole move over 100 times. And honestly, it could only have been planned by instinct.
It's instinct. I don't think it was planned.
Because
Origi was walking away and just
turned. Even he was walking away. He was walking away. And saw Origi walking and just let me play this ball.
Next thing they are hailing the ball boy that threw ball. What
it tells you is that the training, there's certain things you don't teach.
Exactly. It's not everything.
Divine intervention
is there, number one. But there also when you are on the football pitch, you should be ready for.
Of course.
Anything.
Barcelona,
But most players wait for whistle. That's on our problem.
the flip side, Barcelona, they were there with their mouth.
They were sleeping.
Yeah.
They did
They were
not
tired.
attend. The coach did. I didn't see the coach.
The coach was not in that game.
He wasn't there.
He was
I
just
didn't see
standing
him.
with his new suit.
We didn't see him.
With the news.
What I want to say, sir, regarding the MPFL, the problem that the LMC and NFF top hierarchy are going through every day, there's one petition.
Yeah,
If it's not ICPC, it's EFCC, it's
SPIP.
police. There's now a special SPIP. So there is no way. We are human beings. Even when you are owing your neighbor pepper or salt, and you know he's going to be knocking every morning, there's no way you will eat
It's
or drink
distraction.
water. Yes, it's a lot of unnecessary distraction.
I'd like to ask you, since you brought
Yes.
it up, and I'm very happy, God bless you.
Yes.
How come it happens before every major competition?
How come what happens?
This kind of nonsense.
These stories.
Oh, that is.
It happens before every.
Now, let me
It happens
explain.
before the World
Let me
Cup.
explain,
It
sir.
happens before every.
It is
Now
because of the
before AFCON.
Malachi attached to those games. Malachi is a problem. Malachi. It is a problem. Now, look at the World Cup we went
Please
for.
let you know you're not talking about Malachi in the Bible.
Money. Yes. Now, look at the World Cup that we went for. How much did the federal government give to the Super Eagles? Each match the Super Eagles play, most of those games, a plane was chartered. The lowest money spent was 200 million. How much did the FA get from the federal government for those games?
But they organize banquets now.
No, you're not getting my point. They are saying that they stole money from the government. I am saying that how much did the government give? If they are saying that the monies that private individuals brought or sponsors brought is missing, it's different. They are saying that the government, that we all know how much they brought, that the FA stole. Now, how are those people now going to be able to have meetings? How are they going to be able to... I mean, all the security apparatus in Nigeria are looking for you. Okay, and you are meant to run a sport that will make war stop in Zamfara, make war stop in Maiduguri. I mean, it's. I don't want to use some words on air. It's unacceptable.
We're
It's
quite
unacceptable.
good. We're quite
We are
hopeful.
running up.
We're
30
quite
seconds
hopeful
each
that
from
very,
each
very,
one of
very
you.
soon those distractions will be a thing of the past, and
Amen.
then we can face football and we can begin to learn from all these experiences we have talked about to ensure that we get our leagues, our youth football, which is the future of football, and football money. That's one area that we have not touched at all
Yes.
in Nigeria. The business of
Side
football.
of football.
And it's something that keeps on growing all over the world. And yet we are drawing away from it. We need to begin to move in the right
Business
direction.
of sports.
Okay, last question, 15 seconds each one of you. Where we are now, who do you think would be the best player in the world at the end of this year? Who would you name as your best player in the world? Just very quickly, before
Mr.
we move
Speaker,
the
because
motion.
of the way the season has gone, I won't lie to you.
Last week, they described Lionel Messi as
Yes.
a god.
Yes,
Because
he has
of
always
how he
been.
played.
Sir,
And suddenly
if you
he's
watch
been-
Messi play live,
Messi
they
for-
even worship him. I'll give it to Messi still.
Messi for me, but I don't need to
I'll
think
give it to
twice.
Messi.
This year, Messi, number of goals to Messi.
Wow, it's difficult to...
It was
No,
difficult,
that-
but when you
it's
reminded me of last week,
It's difficult to acknowledge that, but you can't take it away. And the Messi is
Yeah,
has
I
actually
think
been
so.
the best.
you want to name Salah, sir?
No.
For you mean up till
Best
now?
player in the world.
Yes.
Up till now,
Yes.
or till the end
Yes,
of the year?
of course, up to now. We don't know the future.
Up till now, best player Messi. I mean,
Messi.
there's no
I
doubt
think
about it.
he's magic.
Okay.
I think
Our
at least we
last
have made
words.
Mr. Speaker's day. with
Yes,
his
yes,
just-
Messi.
Yes.
And Abu here is from your village. It's your cousin.
Yes. We are not closing here because we still have to move the motion. And I'm going to direct the moving of the motion because one of us actually on Monday did not watch these games, unfortunately. He died that night. A legend of Bendel Insurance football, midfield player for the Green Eagles, for the national team, and somebody who in the past 5 years has been lying or was lying on his back in pain and agony, requiring surgery and no money, no funds. We have severally written about it. We've asked people to support and people just did not support. And to an extent, it was a relief that he even had to go back to his creator, George Omokaro. We commiserate with his family on this show, and we pray that his soul would rest peacefully now with his creator. The motion we are going to move again today, and I'll ask Shegun to move it, is that of doing something to take care of our own whilst they are alive, particularly when they are aging, so that we can round off today's program.
Well, Mr. Speakers and my fellow parliamentarians, I hereby move a motion that players who have served this nation meritoriously,
all athletes,
all sports people, that there has to be a way and means, or ways and means, either a special fund that is set up to look after them. And I'll refer to Peter Frekene, who is going through that right now. At
10 years, in fact, 15 years now on his back.
And it's getting worse, but he's still alive. So I'd like to propose that motion that please the government should set up an intervention fund which will help our ailing sportsmen and women, because a lot of these injuries are things that could have actually started in their youth when they were playing for us, and whatever the case, we need to stand by them as they stood by us in their youth. So I hereby propose that motion, and I hope it will be carried through Parliament.
Well, I thank you all for coming on to this show.
Before I say I want to just 5 seconds. Yes, it's a good idea, but I think we need to begin to treat the cause, not the symptoms. But that's a topic for another day.
All those in favor of that motion for us to set up something to take care of ailing sports heroes, particularly in their old age, say aye.
Aye.
All those against say nay. The ayes have it.